treats, and a special visit from Santa as you travel through the winter night. Perfect for families, friends, and anyone ready to make lasting Christmas memories. The North Pole Limited at the Tennessee Valley Railroad. For tickets, visit tvrail.com.
Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks.
Hey, Andy Morris here. Join me along with my co-host on The Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no slide. Got a thirst for killing. Think about it.
Welcome back to The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. Excited to be back with all of our loyal listeners, and maybe even some of our not so loyals might just be dropping in for the day to hear what's going on. And there's going to be a lot locally we're going to talk about. Obviously, going to talk a little college football as we normally do. We've got some big games coming up this weekend in the college football playoff. Again, I'm Andy Morris along with Jim Gum and Jacob Mason. I want to lead off with this, fellas. How's everyone's day going? Pretty good? Pretty solid?
Pretty good. No complaints.
Yeah, I've gotten out to go get the kid from school and here, so it's been a
living the dream.
Yeah, stay at home dad right now, which is nice.
That's it. So I want to bring something up. So you'd mentioned this on our show a while back. You went down to the University of Georgia with one of our very good friends, a young man who big Bulldog fan, and so I wanted to tell this story on air because I don't know if you know this or not. But Santa Claus, the St. Nicholas, the man, was at Walker Valley High School the other day during lunchtime and giving students the opportunity to have a photo op with them. And I saw our friend, and I told him he was, of course, wearing his Georgia Bulldog sweatshirt. And I'll let you kind of remind our listeners what you guys got to go do. But I saw him, and I went up to him. I said, "Hey, are you about to go see Santa Claus?" He said, "Yeah, I am." I said, "Listen, me and you both know what you need to ask him for, right?" And he said, "Go Dogs." And I said, you need to ask him for a Georgia national title. Go win it all. And sure enough, he talked to Santa Claus and told him he wanted the Dogs to win the whole thing.
Yeah, that's my guy. Yeah, me and a buddy of mine, they do an event down in Georgia during the bye week every year with an organization called ESP, which is Extra Special People. And obviously, we're here in Cleveland, and I just shot an email out to a good friend that used to work for the University of Georgia, now off doing bigger and better things. Mr. Raper is with the Big 12 now.
Neil and Raper.
But he got me in touch with somebody at the University of Georgia, and so we get to go down and watch a practice, and then after practice is over, we get to meet the players and take pictures with them and get to be in the facility. And so it was a pretty neat little event. And yeah, I'll be honest, man, his mom, dad's a big Georgia fan, mom's a Tennessee fan, and she suffers through the visit with us every year.
Boy, does she. She just deals with it because the young man is all dog.
She says I corrupted him. Really, I led him, on the straight and narrow. So we're me and Justin have been good friends since. I mean, Lord, I had him when he was in kindergarten. So long time friend.
Good stuff there.
So he got to request Santa Claus bringing the Dogs the national title. So all I'm saying is look out Jim Gum and the Buckeyes.
Hey,
look out.
I will say, when Graham was born, my son was born, won 2 national championships. Just had another one. So I'm hoping Cal brings the same luck that my first son did.
Well, I'm not going to say I wish it happens, because then that means my team would be losing to Georgia in all likelihood. Although I'll tell you right now, I'm concerned. Whoever wins that Miami Texas A&M game, that is not going to be easy. That's going to be a tough win right there. Especially like A&M playing in the Cotton Bowl in Texas, playing Texas A&M in Texas.
I think with Miami getting in the way they did, I think they've got a chip on their shoulder. I really do.
Yeah, and Carson Beck scares me when he's on. There's not many guys better than him. Now there again, we never know which Carson Beck's going to show up. But if the good Carson Beck shows up, watch out.
Yeah, you want to know a crazy stat that I just scrolled through? Gunnar Stockton is the only quarterback in the field that's participated in a playoff game because Carson Beck got hurt last year and he didn't play.
Yeah,
and he didn't even win that game. Lost to your Fighting Irish.
That's right.
In that, or I guess our first round in the second round because we got the bye. But he's the only quarterback that has any experience.
Yeah, Julian Sand was there for all 4 games, but he never took a single snap for the Buckeyes last year. He's got a ring, but he doesn't have any experience.
So interesting to see, and really that's kind of been the story of college football this year, though. We all summer long, all the experts, all the people we had on our show, even us ourselves, we talked about Clemson returning a quarterback. We talked about Penn State returning a quarterback. We talked about all of these teams.
Well, Arch Manning had some experience.
Yes, yeah. and we talked like he was the next coming.
They're ready to hand him the Heisman before a snap had even been taken this season.
Right, and so that's kind of been the story of the season is all these newcomers have been the guys that have really affected college football and made a name for themselves. And I know Alabama's been kind of on the slide, but there was a time where Ty Simpson was leading that Heisman race, and really it kind of fell out of his pocket.
Fernando Mendoza had a ton of experience at University of California, but none at Indiana. But he's never played in a postseason game either. So yeah, you're right. All these guys are inexperienced except for Gunnar.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. And really, again though, like the way that these teams should be attacking this, it's just 3 more games in your season. Like you've got to look at it. The next game is the most important game, and it could be the game that sends you home. But you just got to attack it like we're preparing for another game. Can't make it bigger than that because if you do, lights get too big and things start tumbleweeding downhill.
Of course, things getting kicked off this Friday with the first round in the college football playoff. So I want to ask you guys this. I felt like this was a really good question to start the show as we're talking some college football here. Which of these matchups do you find the most intriguing? And I think Jim kind of already told you his with Texas A&M and Miami.
Well, because the winner plays my team. And obviously I think Alabama and Oklahoma. By the way, Alabama has never been beat twice by the same team in their entire history. So Oklahoma has that opportunity.
In the same season.
130 years. Yeah, same season. Twice in the same season. Obviously that game is a coin toss, if you ask me. Texas A&M at home against Miami. Yeah, I think Texas A&M probably should be favored slightly in that game. Although, like I said, Carson Beck, he might be the most dangerous quarterback when he's on his game in the playoffs. But obviously, I think those 2 games stand out. I mean, the Oregon and James Madison, the Tulane and Ole Miss games just don't intrigue me.
I've already kind of thrown shade at those games specifically. I think Tulane and Ole Miss has the potential to be.
I've already watched it. It's already been played.
Yeah,
and they lost by 35 points.
I think it has the potential to be a better game, but I'm using that term lightly. A better game than James Madison and Oregon. I really think that game's going to get super ugly. So I think between the 2 games, Alabama at Oklahoma, Miami at Texas A&M, you're talking about 2 historic venues and atmospheres that it's going to be, I feel like this year, similar to how it was for me, Notre Dame getting to host a home playoff game last year. You're going to have that on those campuses. So I think no doubt the most intriguing is between those 2 games. And for me, I kind of want to go to the Miami Texas A&M one, but the fact I really feel like Oklahoma is wanting to cause some embarrassment for Alabama, and it might be a 3-point win causing the embarrassment. I'm not saying they're going to blow them out, but I think Oklahoma is ready to step on their neck.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Miami Texas A&M game for a different reason. Why I'm excited for that, I'm excited about both. I think the Texas A&M Miami game could be like a high-scoring shootout. which is going to be fun to watch. It'll be fun to watch Carson Beck do his thing. Again, I don't have faith that Carson Beck can go on a 4-game run. I don't. Do I believe he can go on a 2-game run?
Absolutely.
I do.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't believe that he can go on a 4-game run without having a game like the SMU, like the Louisville. Somebody's going to get to him. And something that's interesting to note: Miami hasn't played anywhere all year long. Carson Beck has when he was at Georgia. He's played at a Neyland Stadium. He's played at an Alabama. They haven't played anywhere over 67,000 fans. Kyle Field is
It's a different place.
It is a
105,000 they're
Yeah.
expecting there.
well.
They don't
and-
call it the 12th man for no reason.
Well, and something about Kyle Field that a lot of people don't know, it's always been a bucket list of mine. Georgia has still yet, as long as they've been in the SEC, Georgia's yet to go to Kyle Field, which is astounding
That's
to me.
incredible.
But they're almost impossible tickets to get because 93,000 of the seats are already sold. Like that, they're already accounted for, and so to get a ticket into that game already is really tough. So I think it's going to be a heavy home field advantage, but can Miami step up to that call? I think when Carson, like you said, when Carson Beck's on, he's one of the best in the country.
And then the Alabama at Oklahoma game, you got two coaches that are the dynamics are so intriguing. If Kalen DeBoer loses, the Wolves are going to be out in Tuscaloosa because that'll be 8 losses in his first 2 seasons in Tuscaloosa.
and we're going to have
And
Friday night and Saturday leading into those next games to talk about that.
And then Brent Venables, he's had 2 losing seasons in his 3 years, or now his 4th year here in Norman, Oklahoma. If he loses, do the Wolves come back out in Norman, Oklahoma? I think his is a little bit less just treacherous than DeBoer.
I agree with that.
Because Alabama, just look what they've did the last 10, 15 years under Saban. It would take 6 years for Alabama to lose 8 games.
So is it crazy that we're talking about 2 playoff teams here playing each other, and these are, again, playoff teams? They made the field of 12.
Yeah, right.
Is it crazy that we're talking about the potential of head coaches losing their jobs over this game?
Not losing, but leaving, maybe on their own.
Yeah.
DeBoer may say, you know what, I've had 2 years as I can't take it anymore. I don't know. I'm just throwing that stuff
Hey,
out.
DeBoer
But you hear
might
the
say,
stories.
is DeBoer married? He might say, hey, Michigan,
Yeah,
you got any
he's
more snow bunnies up there?
Good Lord.
Oh, more. I mean, I do think that game. I think it's going to go one or two ways.
It's a fun show, Jacob. Come on.
It is a fun show. I think either we see the Ryan Grubb that we saw the first half of that Georgia game that comes out that has a lineman lining up on the far as a wide receiver throwing the screen pass. Like you're gonna see them.
Proctor was the receiver.
Yeah, they're gonna pull out all the stops. Like you're gonna see them throw everything they've got at Oklahoma because Oklahoma's got one of the best defenses in the country.
Oh, there's no question.
You're either going to see that or you are just going to see Oklahoma break Alabama's will. I don't think there's any other. I don't think that game goes any other way.
Now here's the thing. When we came back in to do the show after Oklahoma beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa, we all said Alabama looked like the better team for the majority of that game, but Oklahoma ended up winning. They won on the scoreboard. I don't know if Oklahoma is better than Alabama, but I know this much. Oklahoma's home team this time.
They are.
And so they've got the home crowd advantage, and they've got all that stuff in their favor. And DeBoer,
They're also healthier.
I worry about Alabama being a one-dimensional team. If they cannot run that football, Oklahoma's going to pin their ears back and be on that quarterback
Oklahoma
so fast.
plays some defense, man. They play tough defense.
Alabama has to run that football.
Also,
They're going to struggle. They cannot run the football. They can't do it.
yeah.
They can't.
And, I saw somebody bring up the fact that Ty Simpson, in my opinion, is one of the better quarterbacks in this country. But does Ty, after this run with Alabama, does Ty Simpson have a Carson Beck moment and say, this has been a good marriage for the time, but like things are just not working out here? And then they go to the guy that they brought it from Washington with them with Ryan Grubb's system that's been sitting there developing. There could be a split there. This game could have a lot of implications, not just on coaching, but what players decide to do, whether they decide to stay or go.
Go to the pros, too. Yeah.
It's a very it's this time of year. I sit and scroll through X a lot during the day because you just never know who's entering the portal, who's declaring for the draft, who's doing what. So.
Couple of my favorite players, both running backs for Notre Dame, both announced. Jeremiah Love, Jadarian Price, both declaring for the draft today.
If you're running back, that's the only decision to make.
Yeah.
Because the shelf life of a running back is so
doubt.
short.
Got to take the meal ticket when you can get it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Because like you said, in 10 years they're probably like Derrick Henry is the exception rather than the rule.
Yeah.
Most running backs.
Not a lot of Emmitt Smiths anymore.
No.
Adrian Peterson.
No, they've got 4, 5, 6 years of greatness,
Yeah.
and then they fall off a cliff. Look what Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah.
Remember how great he was?
dropped off.
Well,
like a rock.
I brought up Todd Gurley off air the other day. Todd Gurley is still 5th in touchdowns since 2015, and he hasn't played a snap since 2020. But look how he did. He just disappeared from the NFL.
That's the running back position.
I want to call Jacob out here for a second. We're talking about Carson Beck, and he said he just doesn't trust him to go on a run. Only running that's been going on down in Athens is from the cops. I just want to throw that out there.
Bro.
I just want to throw that out there.
No, the latest
Time out. So look,
the
we got
latest
to talk
stuff
about
makes me
supermarket spree. Let's talk about supermarket spree going on down in Athens,
Bro.
Because I want you to educate our listeners, because we've got some Bulldog listeners. I know for a fact we do. I think Jacob probably recruited them, but. The optics of it looks so bad, but we're not getting all the information.
No, on 3 and all of these people, they put out headlines that said 2 Georgia Bulldog players arrested for shoplifting, right? Come to find out, they were at self-checkout, and the scanner malfunctioned. Not even that they forgot to scan it, the scanner malfunctioned.
Because they've got video. Every self-checkout, you're on camera big time when you do that.
Not only that, they offered to go back and pay for it, and they still booked them and put them on a $1,500 bail. Same scenario. Athens Clark County arrest a guy that's been on campus for 2 weeks and took a wrong turn down a one-way at night, completely sober. You can't defend the fast.
I'm glad you threw that last part in there.
You can't defend the fast driving. I'm not trying. Like, if you're speeding and you get caught doing that, like the kid that ran from the cops with his mom a couple of weeks ago.
Gosh.
See ya, bye.
Yeah.
Like you're done. But it seems like there's literally no grace, and there's going to be no redaction either. You won't see.
The media's bad about that.
I heard
these
about
days.
this story. I heard about this, and what triggers in my mind is, hey, another Georgia player acting up. It kind of gave me old school 90s Florida State vibes a little bit. No offense to Bobby Bowden. Love the guy as a head coach, but he had some rowdy individuals on those teams. It gave me those vibes, and then I didn't hear anything else about it. Do you know how I knew about it? Because Jacob told me, because Jacob does the research on the Bulldogs. So I think there's something to be said, regardless if it's Georgia or whoever it is. When stuff like that happens, I think certain people need to be held accountable for making sure that they follow up the story. They make those redactions. That's important, because you're talking about slander to an extent.
And what's unfortunate, most media, if they do a retraction like that,
It's in the fine print.
It's in a very small fine print, in italicized. You can't even see it.
It came up across the headline of my phone, because I follow Georgia stuff, but it came across the headline of a lot of ESPN's people's phones and a lot of On 3 and whatever. This story broke, and there might have been one Georgia reporter that said, you know what, I'm going to let this play out. I'm not going to write about it because we don't know the details of it, and it ended up being less than $100 worth of cleaning supplies that didn't get paid for. And they offered to pay for it, and then come to find out they did the video. And, like, you're telling me you booked them and arrest them before you watch the video?
They're just trying to clean up the trophy case before they add to it. That's all they're trying to do.
And let me ask you guys, we've all done the self-checkout, correct?
Yeah.
When you get your receipt, do you look at...
No.
I don't either. I don't know if I've ever gotten something for. I don't know. Maybe I paid for something twice.
Don't get
or
me.
Maybe I haven't paid for something in it. I don't know if I have or not.
Yeah, don't get me started on self-checkouts, because every time I have to go to Walmart, I get irritated because I have to go to work too and scan my stuff, check myself out.
Do you go in the break room and take a break with the rest
Listen,
of the employees?
I need to start considering that, but I'll say this. Every time it asks you, it gives you the stars, how was your experience? And even if I had a top-of-the-line experience, that checkout puts a damper on it. So I never go above 3. They get a number 3 from me every time, also in honor of Del Murphy, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Hey, with that, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we got a whole lot of other stuff to talk about, like high school basketball, high school wrestling, a lot of stuff going on this weekend here in our community with our high school athletes, all right here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks.
Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our Urgent Ortho Walk-In Clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive to Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care. Call, schedule online, or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Center for expert care right when you need it.
When the road gets tough, make sure your ride is ready. At Cleveland Tire Center on North Lee Highway. They keep you rolling with the best brands, expert installation, and prices that fit every budget. Whether you need new tires, a quick rotation, or a full alignment, their certified team delivers fast, friendly service you can trust. Stop in today and feel the difference that quality makes. Cleveland Tire Center. Locally owned, dependable, and always ready to get you back on the road. Cleveland Tire Center. 4695 North Lee Highway, Cleveland, where the name says it all.
Mix 1041 and Honda of Cleveland are teaming up to give one deserving teacher in our local area the chance to win a 2025 Honda Civic LX. Nominate your favorite teacher at mymix1041.com or on the Mix 1041 app.
It's $1.50 wing and whiskey Wednesday at Aubrey's Cleveland.
Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 per hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one. Medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com. And, of course, bowl season is underway. We have a bowl that's currently going on with 9:56 left in the first quarter. Old Dominion and South Florida are scoreless. That got me to thinking, by the way, this is Inside the SEC, brought to you by Southern Heritage Bank. Looking at the bowl or the postseason results for the big conferences from 2014, that was the beginning of the college football playoffs, to the present, the SEC is plus 20 when it comes to, they've won 20 more bowl games than they've lost, or postseason games than they've lost. The Big Ten is second at plus 14. The Pac-12 is at minus 10. The Big 12 is at 0, so they're exactly the same. The ACC, 20 in the hole.
Hey, bad news for the Pac-12. That's not getting any better.
Well, they actually are playing a game this year.
They are.
But next year, now you got Boise State, all those other schools out west with the last name of State. They're all joining the Pac-12. So we'll see the Pac-12. And there will be still a group of 5.
So is it an 8-team Pac-12 next year or 9?
An 8.
8-team. That's
8.
what. Okay.
It'll be 8. And there's still some schools that could join later on that haven't made that move yet. UNLV kind of surprises me. They haven't made the move. They're staying in the Mountain West. I can foresee them going to the new, I'm not going to say improved, but the new Pac-12.
So it's going to be the P4 from here on out, though, right? Like
it's going to be the P4.
They don't get to hop
the Pac-12 is going to be a group of 5, or actually it'll be a group of 6 next year. And then, of course, we don't know what the future of the ACC and the Big 12 is. So.
I'm serious. I'm thinking about this seriously here, as much as I have jokes running through my head, as you guys always know I do. But, like, what if Stanford, what if Cal, what if those teams kind of come back to reality and are like, let's just go back to the Pac-12, and you start putting some.
Well, there's a big fee they got to pay to get out of the ACC now. That's the thing. When they joined, they went all the way in, and so that's the reason Clemson and Florida State haven't left yet, because it's too darn expensive.
So is that
for right now?
Is that set up on a yearly term, or is it, hey, at any point when you leave our conference you have to pay
the
this
grant
fee?
of rights goes to, I think, is it 2036 for the ACC?
So that's a while.
Yeah, it's tied to the TV rights.
Yeah,
correct?
just the grant of rights, the media rights. All right.
Okay, so let's hit the fast forward button.
And it's over $100 million.
So 2036, let's say Cal and those teams, like, what happens if the Pac-12 does add some teams back and they say, hey, timeout, we're relevant again? Like, what
I'll be honest.
Like, how's that work out?
I think you're more so likely looking at the dissolve of the Big 12 and the dissolve of the ACC, and you just
having a whole new league formed that
you're
going to
have
those leftovers.
You're going to have I think you'll have the Big 10 and the SEC, and they'll break off into divisions.
Well, and I think that you'll see,
Similar
like
to the NFL.
You'll see upwards of 20 to 24 teams in the SEC and the Big Ten at some point.
Yeah,
which is absurd. But that's the direction we've heard this super conference talk for years. It's morphing right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, because each year that Clemson and Florida stay into this contract, the buyout gets cheaper.
It gets cheaper and cheaper every year.
I think I heard somebody say at like a reasonable year, and your brother may know the answer to this because he's kind of in on the Florida State stuff. By like 2030, it's something that these schools could afford to do.
And here's another thing. You could have a deal with their new conference. They could help fund to get you out of that old conference. Maybe you take a little less money each year, TV money from the new conference, but they could help you get out of that original conference.
So I was thinking about this regarding the bowl games and going back to the old conferences and everything. And I believe you talked about this one of the days that I wasn't on the show, Jim, but I want to bring this back up as well. But at every level of football, things are decided on the field. It's not left up to a committee.
Right.
Like high school football, you're in a region, going into the season before you take a snap, I have to finish at point X in my region to qualify.
In the top 4, top
exactly.
8, or whatever. Yeah.
So wherever that may be, whatever level of football, even in college football, you look at D2, you look at what used to be 1AA, and FCS now, and you look at what they all are doing. It's pretty easy to figure out who's getting in because you know what you got to do. You have to win your conference. You have to do this. And I know, and I'm saying this as a Notre Dame fan, why is it so dang hard for us to figure out and say, you know what, this is where I'm kind of connecting the whole conference conversation to the playoffs now. I miss the Big East. I miss the Pac-12. I miss knowing who was where and how that worked out, and those conference championship games being meaningful. That's something we've talked about on this show. Like, why is it so hard for us to say, you know what, SEC, Big Ten, chill out for a second. We know you like the money. We know you're trying to monopolize because that is exactly what's happening. They're trying to monopolize.
Jacob and I talked about that yesterday.
Whenever we started talking to Texas and Oklahoma, and even going back Missouri and Texas, like we saw what was going on. It wasn't about increasing the quality of football play. It was about nothing but the dollar sign. And then the Big Ten obviously has to follow suit with that.
Sure.
So my issue is, why can we not just figure this out without the rich getting richer, putting money in their pockets? Why can't we figure this out to where we can say, hey, this is our playoff format. You're going to win your way in. If you win football games, you get in. Why is that so hard?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are, I proposed a way to make bowl games meaningful again. And we've even, Jim threw out the idea of certain conferences getting so many bids and you play your way into those. There is a way. I really do feel like there's a way. I was so against the 24 bracket.
Mm-hmm.
But then I started thinking, that's the way that you save bowl season.
Yeah.
That's the way that you make bowl season relevant again, is having play-in games to get into the field of 16. And so I guess that would be a round of 32.
And do you like the idea of having these play-in games, but saying, hey, you win this play-in game, you get to host a home playoff game?
Think about this. Chris Brazzell is probably going to sit out Tennessee's Music City Bowl. He's not sitting out for the postseason playoff game.
No, because you're still in the hunt.
You're in the hunt. You have a chance.
Yeah. And so if you are still I think the academic calendar has to change. I think you're going to have to move things up. I think we have championship week.
Playoffs should have started last week.
Yeah, yes. I think you have championship week, like your conference, because then your conference championship still means something too, because then you're probably one of those top seeds.
They get to bye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then the next week after championship week, everything starts playing.
Yep.
And then you just go through the rounds. And everybody talks about how, I'll be honest, March Madness is electric, right? But, like, does any other sport operate like March Madness? Like
not as good as they do.
Do people care that Old Dominion made a Final Four a couple years ago, or whoever it was? There was some kind of
DCU State did.
Yeah, like
Butler. Yeah.
But like, does anybody like actually care about that? Like, we want to see the best teams, and in football,
we do. I admit that. I want to see the blue bloods.
And in football, if you're in that top 24 consideration, you're probably taking a first-round exit if you're at 24, 25. But, like, this year, like, we're looking at Notre Dame, who's sitting at 12. They could have been a team that made a run.
On conference championship weekend, and I'm calling out the Ole Misses of the world. I'm calling out the teams that are in big conferences that didn't get to play in their conference championship game. Give me those teams and say, hey, guess what, Ole Miss, you're ranked ahead of Notre Dame. You get to host them this weekend. They're coming down to you conference championship weekend to see if you guys get a shot in the playoff. Why not do that?
Yeah, well, then it makes it fair across the board. Because, like, the Ole Misses that didn't play.
And we can quit crying about my Irish not being in a conference then, too.
The Oklahoma didn't play. The Texas A&M didn't play. The Oregons didn't play. All these teams got to sit and rest, where Alabama, like, say what you want about them, they were the number one seed in the SEC, but, Lord, they were beat up to all get out and then had to go face one of the best defenses in the country.
Yeah. In no other sport do the teams with the best records play more postseason games.
And
like the number one seed in the NFL, they get a bye. The number one seed gets a bye. 2 through 7 have to play. But it's weird how it works.
I think we can. If Joe Schmoes like us can sit on the show and figure out how
within an hour
how to make conference championships relevant, how to keep them relevant, and make the almighty dollar sign still be a thing for the SEC, the Big Ten, the ACC, all of those things. If we can figure that out, and we can also make bowl season regular, like make it. Instead of like how I talked about it, it's basically a spring training game. Make the majority of bowl games matter again. Why don't we just do it?
And there's another thing that would help expanding it to 24. Fewer coaches are getting fired because, hey, we made the playoffs. Why are you firing me? We made the playoffs. It don't matter if you're the 1 seed or 24 seed. Just getting in the tournament is going to save a lot of jobs. There's so many jobs. There were so many coaches that got fired because they just missed out.
Well, and hopefully it's going to put a Band-Aid over kids hopping in the portal.
I would hope so, too.
Super quickly.
Yeah.
Or just saying, hey, I'm sitting out. Like, I'll be honest, like, if you're going to run a good program, like Golish said, is it Golish that's at Ole Miss, or is he at Who Pete Gold?
Pete Golden is at Ole Miss.
Pete Golden. He said in a press conference today. It's something that Kirby says a lot too. We want guys that want to play football, and if you can recruit guys like that want to play, that want to be in this playoffs, and can play meaningful games, I just think that's a win-win across the board.
There are 5 teams in this college football playoff this season that did not play in a conference championship. 5 teams.
Yeah, Oregon. Let's see who. Ole Miss.
Actually, 6. Half the field, 6.
Okay.
Yeah. So I didn't count Oregon. Overlooked that one.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, Georgia and Alabama are not afraid to go play that game, but it's still a punishment. Like, at the end of the day,
sure,
like
not if you're Alabama, it's not.
You're more beat up. You're more beat up than if you hadn't played.
You're more beat up than you were before.
Nah. Yeah. They got to learn how to try to run the ball a little bit. Still didn't work out for them, but that was an extra game to try to get better.
But like, what did it benefit Ohio State?
No, it didn't benefit them at all. It cost them a seed.
So it's a punishment
for Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean they were. Yeah, you're right. I mean it was. They couldn't improve their seed.
Being funny here, Jacob.
They were number 1, losing. They dropped to the number 2 seed overall.
Now, and again, I don't know. The number 1 seed normally has a tougher path, which is hilarious to me. It always ends up to be that way somehow. But
my question too. Go ahead, finish, and then I'm going to ask you guys a question.
But I do think there's a way that we can salvage bowl season and make bowl season great and enjoyable to watch again, while also like making this just a better system. And I can't believe that literally the three of us can sit here on the show and talk about it, but the people that are in charge of college football can't figure that out.
I'm going to use a different word instead of bowl season. I'm going to say postseason, because to me, the first 2 rounds should be on campus, not in bowls.
I agree. I agree.
So I don't know if that's saving the bowls. It's saving the postseason, which is the same thing. Games that aren't scheduled, they're playoff games, they're postseason games, but they're not bowl games.
See, I say that first round, the play-in round, like where championship weekend's happening, I say you go play them at a neutral site. Like a number 8 Ole Miss hosting.
You're not going to find that many neutral sites in a week's time.
But you don't.
They're predetermined.
They're predetermined.
But the teams, you find out later.
Yeah, wherever you're seated at.
I would think that if you're going to have stuff like that, that neutral site needs to be somewhat close to the better seed.
Yeah,
instead of making them travel 3,000 miles.
Which I think is doable.
I just want to say this because you brought it up and we're getting away from it, but real quick. Ohio State lost in the Big Ten Championship and did what? Where did they go? They fell a spot. Alabama lost in the SEC Championship and they climbed the ladder. So I'm just putting that back out there. Just wanted to say it out loud so everybody can hear
Notre
that.
Dame's won 10 straight.
I'm not even talking about Notre Dame right now.
And they dropped the last 2 the polls from 9 to 10 to 10 to 11.
I'm not talking about Notre Dame. I'm just talking about Alabama getting better. Hey, you step out on the field and you're Alabama, you're wearing that crimson, hey, you're going to go up in the rankings if you lose. That's how that works, apparently. Anyway, so I want to move on. Done throwing shade at Alabama here. I want to talk a little bit of college basketball just for a second. Friend Steven Shelton, I believe, was up at the game last night. Tennessee Volunteers, number 20 Volunteers, had a big win over number 11 Louisville last night, 83-62. So big win for the Volunteers of the Hardwood.
Tennessee, listen, I mean, they've got a heck of a program. They've been ranked now. I think I've read this 65 consecutive polls that they've been ranked in the top 25. That shows how consistently good that Tennessee is. Rick Barnes, is he the greatest coach in Tennessee basketball history? I hesitate to say that, but really, if you look at it now, I don't think there's another coach that's done as much as he has, and he hasn't been there as long as some of the other guys.
I know. I think though, that I hate this because it's like salt in the wound for Tennessee fans. But could you imagine if Lane Kiffin, Bruce Pearl, like all those guys would have just stuck around?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. How many like potential championships you could have won or been like in contention for?
I'll always say this. I believe Bruce Pearl regrets the day that he had that little party and he got, the show calls up there at Tennessee.
Now that stuff's okay, by the way.
Yeah. I think that he had something great going on there. I know he did some great things at Auburn, but I believe his favorite ever job was the head coach at the University of Tennessee. I really believe that.
No, I believe that too. So Jacob just said something that made me want to ask you guys another question, since I'm just bringing up random questions today on The Drive, which, by the way, you are listening to The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Excited to have you here with us. Tennessee football will win a national title blank. Tennessee football will win a national title blank.
So this is like blank, like if?
You give me your answer. Next year. Or if. Tennessee football will win a national title blank.
If they hire the right coordinators and allow Josh Heupel to
check one of those boxes. Defensive coordinator just got done.
Well, but if Josh Heupel stops staring at the play sheet and becomes the head coach that I think he can be, I think they've got the NIL structure. I think they're starting to recruit at a national level. I think they can pull anybody in the portal they want to. I think it's now down to, is Josh Heupel ready to adapt and to hand the keys to somebody in his offense and be the head coach that I know he can be.
Okay, so let's say just over this offseason he decides to go out and get one of the most elite offensive coordinators. You putting him in the mix next season?
No, because there's some pieces that they've got to get. Again, it's a system.
It'll be a process.
Yeah, like you look at what Kirby did. Kirby went through in 2016 and won 8 games. Went and competed for a national championship, but in my opinion, he was still so focused on the defense that he wasn't a game manager like he needed to be. Then he developed as a head coach, and it took him about 3 or 4 more years to win one.
Leave it to Jacob turning this into a Georgia answer. Hey, so now Jim,
I mean, you look at.
I'm messing with you. It's a fun show, Jacob.
Ryan Day did the same thing.
Jacob, it's a fun show.
I can go.
I just know you love talking Bulldogs.
I can give you examples across the board. People who are so focused on their play sheets or what they're doing are not able to be the coach that they need to be in the moment.
And I'm being facetious. I know you're like me. Like what you witness on a weekly basis is your program. I'm just throwing some Georgia shade today. That's all I'm doing. You guys are about to go on a run here and have a lot of fun. Just take the punishment for a second and then go add to your trophy case. So Jim Gum, Dad Gum in the building, our resident Ohio State Buckeye fan. Tennessee football will win a national title if
they get a coach that's just a little bit better than Josh Heupel. Because I think they've got the resources. I think they've got the desire. I think they've got everything that it takes to be a championship team. I just don't know if Josh Heupel is that guy.
Jim, I'm scared. Do you want to know why I'm scared? Because just got a text here on the Volunteer Ridipest text line, 423-749-1013 is that number if you want to text in on this. But our friend Mark Smith just said, not under Josh Heupel. You and Mark have been agreeing a whole lot here recently.
Well, look at how old we are. I think Josh Heupel is a really good coach, but you got to be a great coach to win a national championship. Josh Heupel can get you to the playoffs, which he did last year, but you got to win 3 or 4 games depending on which round you end up starting in. And I just don't know if he's the guy. I think he's a really good coach, but you got to be a great coach, and I don't think that's Josh Heupel.
Didn't we all have Josh Heupel in our top 10 coaches a few weeks ago?
Again, I think I do. I think he can be that coach. The problem in today's era of college football, like you look back to Nick Saban's tenure and you look back to these teams that were so dominant, it really truly was about the Jimmy and Joes and who could hoard those Jimmy and Joes. There's no hoarding Jimmy and Joes anymore. There's no more hoarding guys.
Being able to attack the portal is a big part of what's happening now.
Well, you look at Alabama, like the Luther Burtons of the world that went and took a deal to be at Missouri. He would have sat at Alabama for 2 years, never touched a football, then had a heck of a year for 1 year for Alabama, and then would have been gone. You don't see that anymore.
And listen, I hope Josh Heupel proves me wrong, okay? 'Cause I like him. I think he's a really nice guy. It's just there's something about him that I'm like, I just don't know if he's the guy. I think Lane Kiffin, if he was at Tennessee, I'd give Tennessee a lot better because I think Lane Kiffin's just flat out a better coach than Josh Heupel. And I know Tennessee fans are probably throwing stones right now. I don't care. I like Lane Kiffin as a football coach better than I like Josh Heupel as a football coach.
Well, I'm going to end this on a...
And listen, Lane Kiffin ain't one squat either.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm going to end this on a more optimistic note for Tennessee fans before we go to a commercial break here. But I think Tennessee football can win a national title if, and my if is they get this defense cleaned up. And with the hiring
Knowles,
Jim
Knowles,
their new defensive coordinator, with that's something that you could fix really quick. Now, does that mean that I expect this to happen this next season or the year after? Maybe not, but 3, 4, 5 year window period. I think Josh Heupel is an offensive genius. I really believe that. Being able to watch not only the pace of play, and he's kind of managed that a little bit better too, knowing when to really go tempo and when to dial it back and manage situations. He's matured.
Save your defense, man.
He's matured that way. I think this Tennessee team's probably 2 to 3 years away from being a legitimate contender for a national title, and they've got some guys on that roster right now. You look on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Merklinger actually announced that he's entering the transfer portal. But you've got McIntyre who's coming back who, listen, that kid.
They got one of the best recruits in the country coming in next year too.
Yeah, so all I'm saying is offensively, you're not far away. You're really not far. You've got the weapons year in and year out. Defensively, you get it cleaned up a little bit. I'm dead serious. I think 2 to 3 years, you're a legitimate contender for a national title if you can come out next year and show that defensively you've improved.
Well, you look at when Tennessee was its most successful, it's when they had one of the best defenses in the country. I mean, last year.
Yeah, and they had Hendon Hooker running the offense simultaneously.
Well, I'm talking about last year.
You're talking about last year. I thought you were talking about when Hooker was there.
No, last year they had one of the better defenses in the country.
Yeah, and see, I feel like they're not too far removed from that. And I think Knowles comes in, gets things straightened out. Tennessee's right back in the mix to be playing for SEC titles again and competing for national titles. With that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, going to talk some local stuff. I think Jacob had something to say about the Bulldogs having something to say in that.
No,
okay.
I literally was just going to say I think it's him putting the play sheet down. If he can find somebody that runs if he can train somebody to run his offense and he can be the head coach full time, I think that it makes them a 10 times better team. And
I don't disagree.
So
I could see that being there's several solutions here. For me, right now, it's defense because I think this team's in the mix this year with better defensive play. With that, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk high school basketball, high school wrestling, amongst a few other things, maybe a little bit of Major League stuff before we take off for the day. We're 100 days away, Jim. 100 days away from opening day. It's kind of got me feeling the itch a little bit.
I'm ready for it, man.
We'll be right back here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks.
Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our urgent ortho walk-in clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive to Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care. Call, schedule online, or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Center for expert care right when you need it.
Hey everyone, Nicole Mooreshead with Hardees here, and on behalf of all of us at J&S Restaurants, we just wanted to wish you all the goodness of the holiday season. Stop in a Hardees near you today to try our cinnamon raisin biscuits or enjoy the festive Holly Jolly Sparkler.
ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is powered by Duracell.
Cleveland, the all-new Select Flooring and Remodeling is now open at 5555 North Lee Highway. We carry the top flooring brands you know and trust: Mohawk, Shaw, Engineered Floors, and United Weavers. We also specialize in home remodeling and roofing, delivering quality you can count on. Take advantage of 24 months interest-free credit. Come see us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 2. Call us today at 423-889-3007. That's Select Flooring and Remodeling, 5555 North Lee Highway, Cleveland. From the floors to the roof, we've got you covered.
When you need a new roof, it's all about trust. Your home is too big an investment and you can't afford to make a mistake. Cleveland Plywood has the products and expertise you're looking for. Contractors have trusted them for over 50 years, and they carry only proven products from reputable suppliers like IKO. IKO Cambridge is one of the heaviest weight asphalt shingles you can buy, and their limited warranties are among the industry's best. Protect the investment you've made in your home. Go with the pros at Cleveland Plywood, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland. Call 472-3357.
ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is your home for the college football playoffs, presented by Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland. Each and every playoff game, from game 1 this Friday to the national championship on January 19th. Plus, every weekday afternoon, The Drive will have the special coverage that will keep you in the know. Presented by Hardees. The college football playoff resides here on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
Men, are you having testosterone issues? Don't risk your health at a pop-up low-T clinic. Tennessee Valley Urology offers safe, medically supervised treatment with real results. And they're expanding. Their new Ooltewah location opens this fall. TNValleyurology.com. Book your appointment today.
Get your New Year's Eve fireworks at Davenport Fireworks, where everything is half price. Everything. Davenport Fireworks, located on Dalton Pike at the state line. Everything is half price. Happy New Year from Davenport Fireworks. Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Welcome back to The Drive. Hope everyone out there is having a good Wednesday. Little scoring update from the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. Old Dominion is leading South Florida 7-3 at the end of the first quarter. That game, of course, is on ESPN. And we want to remind everyone about the high school all-star game that's going to be played tomorrow night at Benny Monroe Stadium. FCA is behind that. We had Matt Moore here yesterday, so if you've got some time, I think it would be fun to go out there and watch some little high school football tomorrow night.
Yeah, I don't know what the weather's going to be. I think there's a little rain in the forecast potentially, but man, I can't think of anything better if you don't have anything going on. Show up and go watch some high school football that you thought you weren't going to get to see till next season. That's pretty cool that they're doing that over at Cleveland High School's Benny Monroe Stadium. So I do want to throw this out. You talked about that Old Dominion South Florida score. Old Dominion currently leading 7-3, Jim, and it's the Staff DNA Cure Bowl. And I was kind of complaining about not knowing what some of these bowls were. Jim did inform me, and I'm kind of taking you inside the breaks here in the ESPN studios, that it is the Cure Bowl, and it's targeted to breast cancer fighters and survivors.
Exactly.
And I think that's a great thing, but it is the Staff DNA Cure Bowl.
I don't know about Staff DNA. I don't know what that is.
When we came back when it said Staff DNA, I was going to say, Jim, don't worry, you are not the father. But so anyway, I was just going to throw that out there. You guys can tell when I'm on one here on The Drive. But, hey, I do got to let you know that when it comes to Mayfield Dairy ice cream, you're never going to have a boring bite. They've got some really good ice creams out right now, and you need to pick some up today at your local grocery stores. You can learn more at MayfieldDairy.com. With that, real quick, we had mentioned Major League Baseball, 100 days away from opening day, which is one of my it should be a national holiday. I'm going to go ahead and say that.
Are they opening in Japan this year? Please tell me they're not.
Surely.
Coming season,
I didn't look into that. I'm going to be frustrated if they do that again. They need to learn from last year. But also, I believe only about 63 days away from when pitchers and catchers report. Really excited. Braves, if you missed it, re-signed shortstop Ha-Seong Kim. Able to structure out a one-year deal. He's going to make $20 million. That solidifies that Atlanta Braves offense, defense up the middle. Ha-Seong Kim, unbelievable defensive shortstop as well. So really excited about the possibility down in Atlanta to be back in the playoffs this season, potentially playing for another World Series. I'll say this, if they add one more starting pitcher, one more arm, arguably the best rotation in baseball.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's hard for me when the Dodgers are deferring basically $1 billion.
Dodgers can go trip and fall down.
I mean, they went out and they got the dude from the Mets. It just continues to. They just continue to stack.
Edwin Diaz.
Yeah.
Well, I still think the best acquisition this year is the Braves and that relief pitcher they got from San Diego. Gosh, what's his name?
Yeah, it's Suarez.
Suarez.
Robert Suarez.
I just think that, to me,
got 3
that's
years
where
too.
The Braves. That was their Achilles heel. And I know that, yes, Iglesias at times had great moments, but he's getting long in the tooth, if you want to call it that. So they needed somebody, and they got the best guy that was available.
Yeah, and Suarez is going to serve as the setup man to Iglesias, but Alex Anthopoulos specifically said, not only is he going to be the setup man, there's going to be days where maybe Iglesias just doesn't have it or needs some rest.
I think there's going to be some alternation.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think that's where we're leading with that. But
he led the National League in saves last year.
Yeah, that's a huge addition, no doubt about it. Got to go into some high school basketball real quick here as we're approaching the end of the show. We are past the 5:50 mark, so got to get this local stuff out there. Really excited about a lot of this, by the way. The Cleveland Lady Raiders beat Silverdale last night 63-51. The Cleveland Blue Raider boys team lost to Silverdale 56-53 in a very tight game, obviously.
Tough one.
So going down there, but I'll say this, Coach Howard Pride had a big win over the Bears the other night. That game was on mixtv.tv. You can go back and watch it. Very competitive game, fun game. And two teams that are still fairly young, both boys Bradley and Cleveland team. So going to see some good basketball from them throughout the entire season. Walker Valley Lady Mustangs lost to Tellico 81-51 last night, but the Mustangs beat Tellico 65-54. And I say this, don't sleep on that Tellico team. This is a team, if they can get past Tyner, you're talking about a team that can go to the glass house with Tellico. So I talked to Coach Will Campbell today. They continue to look for tests at all different levels. So that was kind of cool to see that game on the schedule as well. Friday, Barretts are at the Seahawk Holiday Classic. So that's all I was able to get on that. Don't know.
That's Silverdale, I'm sure.
I believe so.
It is.
The Holiday Classic. So that's going to be going on Friday. The Barretts are in action. And then at 6:30, the Bears versus Hardin Valley. That's all part of the 5-Star Preps Hammer Classic. So Bradley going to be playing Hardin Valley there in that one. Going over to our Cleveland basketball coverage here at 1 p.m., Raiders versus Montgomery Bell Academy. That's in the Adidas Shootout. At 3 o'clock, the Lady Raiders take the court against Ray County in the Loudon Christmas Classic. So all our basketball teams Friday in full force here. At 6 p.m., the Lady Stangs are at Hamilton Heights and taking on a very talented group there at Hamilton Heights. And then the Mustangs at 7:30 also taking on Hamilton Heights down there in Chattanooga, which, by the way, this is something that I know Hamilton Heights has a couple teams. They've got a team that kind of competes locally and one that competes at a national level. This is the national team that Walker Valley's playing.
That's the one that SGA was on.
Yes, exactly. And this, talking to some of those boys, those Mustang basketball players, they're very excited about this opportunity. Mustangs 8-0, by the way, undefeated going into this. So also high school wrestling tomorrow. Walker Valley hosts Bradley. Big early season, really, when you kind of look at things. We're almost at the halfway mark, but this is an early meeting.
Man.
It is. This is an early meeting for Bradley and Walker Valley. Girls are going to start at 6 o'clock. That is up at Walker Valley High School. Boys at 7 o'clock. So the first big rivalry match here in the community between the three teams taking place tomorrow night at Walker Valley. And then the Lady Raiders host. They've got a little neat thing going on over at Cleveland tomorrow as well. Lady Raiders host Carrollton, Georgia. We know they got a good football team. Guess what? Their girls wrestling team's pretty tough, too, from what I'm told. So the Lady Raiders take the mat 5 p.m. against Carrollton, Georgia. And apparently it's Tennessee versus Georgia night down there. So the Raiders are taking on Toombs County out of Georgia, who is another elite Georgia wrestling team coming up to Cleveland to face number one team in the state, Blue Raiders. So really neat things going on the mat here tomorrow.
Yeah, super exciting. I love the wintertime just because there's so much going on.
Oh, gosh, volleyball's going on, wrestling, basketball. There's just a boatload of different sports.
I'm excited for that Walker Valley Hamilton Heights game. I love the direction that they're taking this. This is a very talented team. This is a team that can make a splash and go to the glass house and make a little bit of a run. And the only way you do that is if you go face teams like this Hamilton Heights, because you're going to run into a team out of Memphis. You're going to run into a team out of Nashville. You're going to run into some of these really talented.
Very good athletes on all those teams out of Memphis and Nashville, like you said.
And even if they're not in your classification, you're getting to see good teams and put you in situations that you're going to be in later on in the season, like you said. Hey, also Friday and Saturday, the historic Bradley Invitational Wrestling Tournament is going on over at Jim Smitty Arena. It's going to start around, I believe, 4 o'clock on Friday, and then first thing in the morning on Saturday. Over 30 teams at this tournament, one of the best well-ran tournaments in the state of Tennessee. Just kind of inside information, years ago, Turner Jackson, my dad, and Steve Loxton started this tournament, and at the time rivaled that historic McCallie Invitational tournaments. They since have switched their weekends because they're such huge tournaments. And, of course, Walker Valley and both Bradley, obviously, are going to be in the field there. So really cool thing going on over at Bradley Friday and Saturday with the Bradley Invitational.
You think about this, and I'm not really changing the subject, but a little bit. You got boys wrestling has been strong in the South for many, many years. Now you got girls wrestling. Do you think the SEC would ever consider adding both women and men's wrestling to their sports? Not club sports. I'm talking about on the NCAA Division I.
Well, once upon a time, it was a thing. It would be great if they bring it back.
But never had women. But now girls and women are doing this now.
And that's been a huge thing for a lot of other sports, not just wrestling, but some of these other Olympic sports.
Volleyball, men's volleyball.
That were in jeopardy. Being able to add women's wrestling has been huge. A lot of schools have picked up wrestling because they can add both men and women's, which meet your Title IX standards.
And I would hope that it's one day, maybe not my life, but one day we'll see flag football at the collegiate level. I'm talking about not the club sport, but an actual sport that's sponsored by the Southeastern Conference. That'd be cool.
Hey, with you throwing that out there, I tell you what would be very intriguing to me: an iron mat clash between Auburn and Alabama. A girls' team. Can you imagine the lack of teeth? The lack of teeth in that matchup.
Oh Lord!
I'm sorry, I just
and
went
with
there.
That,
I had
and
to
with
throw,
that,
I had to throw it out there. I've been giving Alabama some shade today. Had to find a way to do it on the wrestling mat, even though they don't have a team. So I'm going to go ahead and say that I was successful with that.
Yeah, you're fighting through your pain. We can see
he
it.
does this.
It's a real
then he
thing.
doesn't show up on Thursday.
It's a real
and we
thing.
have to absorb the wrath. Yeah.
I'm just setting the stage for you guys, right?
By the way, only a half-hour show tomorrow, in case you guys didn't know that, because we've got Lee University basketball at 5:30 on Thursday.
Hey, go Flames! Get out and support them as well.
There you go.
Hey, fun atmosphere over there for those Lee basketball games.
It
by the
is.
way,
It is.
Listen, if all else fails, just go over there and heckle Drew Linus. He's sitting on the bench there with the Lady Flame. So, good friend of mine who fills in on the show occasionally. Go give him a hard time. It'll be funny. It'll be fun.
Yep.
Hey, for Jim Gum, Jacob Mason, I'm Andy Morris. Have a great day, everybody. They will be back with you tomorrow.